Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Alright, y'all. Some chapter spoilers have just been released. It's not necessarily the full thing. I think the full spoilers are probably going to be released very, very soon. Within the next 24 hours, it's definitely going to be released. But some big things that did actually happen in this chapter that we already know of right now. Code got his limiters removed. Sasuke didn't die. Kawaki didn't attack Boruto. And we still don't necessarily know fully what the situation is with Eida and Shikamaru. Like, did Eida actually accept his offer? Now, the first thing that we did see from the spoiler images was Kawaki talking to Sumire. Now, while Kawaki was talking to Sumire, he was essentially restating the fact that he needs the Karma Seal to protect Naruto. That right there isn't necessarily anything big in itself, but I know some people are kind of questioning if Kawaki could potentially go down the wrong path and start to follow Ishiki Otsuki's lead because he now has Ishiki's Karma Seal. It looks like it's full force right now. So this right here kind of makes us understand that protecting Naruto is still his main goal. This has nothing to do on the bearings of if he'll attack Boruto in the future or not, but I just wanted to point out he's still a good guy, quote unquote. But I don't know why, but it seems that Eida is actually afraid of Kawaki. As soon as Eida actually seen Kawaki heading towards the room, she completely dipped. This right here is going to be a very, very important detail that I'm probably going to talk about a lot more in my podcast and in my review. But just real quick, she did this in front of Shikamaru, which means that Shikamaru is most likely going to put two and two together and figure out that she has the clairvoyant abilities. That's going to be insane. Now, not only that, Kawaki had his dojutsu out. You can see from this picture right here. It might be a certain situation where that might be a constant regardless of if the Karma Seal is actually activated. So I'm not going to lie, all intents and purposes, this is base Kawaki right now. Base Kawaki has an insane dojutsu, which is probably going to gain even more triangles and even more power if he does activate his Karma Seal. Now, Eida and Code actually retreating from that spot because Kawaki is actually on his way there. That right there is kind of interesting in itself. During this particular time, Code automatically grabbed the model and was trying to leave. Before they left, Shikamaru placed them in the shadow paralysis jutsu. Code and Eida, the way that Eida was actually able to get out of that shadow paralysis jutsu was by actually ordering Delta to kick Shikamaru. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was absolutely stunned, astonished, appalled, everything in the book. Shikamaru actually dodged Delta's kick. Now, I definitely do have to point out there's some other things that we might have to take into consideration. Something along the lines that Shikamaru wasn't necessarily attacked by the full force of Delta, just because of the sheer fact that she's probably not fully under the control of Eida. She probably done it just to actually have the function be done. But still, if they don't necessarily come out and actually outright say that, this is an impressive feat by Shikamaru. Like, he literally dodged Delta, a person who's actually able to match Naruto when he has the 9 tails and Sage's 6-path mode, taijutsu wise, not ninjutsu, but taijutsu wise, which this right here is taijutsu. So I don't know. If this is legit, we got to see some more fights with Shikamaru, bro. Now, we don't necessarily know if this is going to be fully an ability from Eida, that she's actually able to control people. But one of the things that we're talking about on my podcast, no one's ever really refused an order in front of her face. Like, that right there is going to be kind of significant going forward. The next spoiler images was an amazing image of Damon essentially looking directly at Amato and saying, "Long time no see, old man." And then Code gets his limiters completely removed. Now, I don't necessarily like to be that guy to like overhype power-ups and things such as that, especially in a power-up like this where it says that, hey, Code isn't necessarily going to be able to beat Damon and Eida, but this Code looks absolutely insane. It's like he took on a completely different design. He now looks like an actual serious villain. Hopefully his personality matches that as well. Some unconfirmed spoilers that I did hear about this chapter: Sarada and Mitsuki are not going to be in this chapter, so that right there is going to be a big bummer for a lot of you Sarada and Mitsuki fans out there. Not only that, from what I'm seeing right now, there is no actual combat in this chapter. Oh, and I forgot to talk about this. During the last spoiler images, it looks like they're actually about to kill Amato. Now, I'm going to be on the side. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be an end for Amato just because of the sheer fact that he's such an important character right now. I'm not completely sure, but one of the things that I definitely do have to say right now is that this right here is like, I won't necessarily call it like a disappointing chapter, because let's be honest, a lot of things did actually happen. Kawaki coming to the room essentially made Shikamaru understand that Eida has clairvoyant abilities. Code got his limiters removed. A bunch of things plot wise happened in this episode, but what I definitely do have to bring up is that from these spoilers, it doesn't necessarily look like there was much action, as I said, and of course, not only that, it doesn't necessarily look like there was much Naruto and Sasuke sighting in this actual chapter. Oh, by the way, Shikamaru is still alive. I think that right there was something that I did talk talk about my prediction video, but he's still alive. So a lot of the actual critical things that some people were actually anticipating did not happen in this chapter. The cover photo is a model, and as I said, the full chapter will be out, let's say, in a matter of about 24 hours, 2 days max. The full chapter comes out on the 19th, so I'm pretty much going to be talking about this chapter for the next, let's say, 2 or 3 days or something like that. But let me know what you guys think about these spoilers in the comment section below. I'm not going to lie, I think the biggest part that we have to take away from this is that Code finally got his limiters removed after, like, let's say, I don't know, a whole year, 15 months or something like that. I heard somebody say it's finally got removed. Now, how strong is Code going to be? I have absolutely no idea. I'm probably going to speculate a bit more in my actual review, but it's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.